Stephen Berry here from Greenfish Marketing. This is the third part of our 5 automations to put into your business right now. In this part, we're actually going to focus on engagement tracking. This is so fundamental to your system, and so many clients that we work with, when we start working with them, when we look at their campaign, don't have this. So in part 3, engagement tracking, this is a part of the series, the 5 automations to put in your business right now. Let's not waste any time and let's get underway. So the first thing we're going to do is set up the date so that we can have an engagement date in there that we'll be able to use to trigger some re-engagement and some other bits and pieces. So the first thing we want to do is log into your dashboard. This is my demo account, so it might look slightly different when we go into some of the automations and contacts and stuff, but hey, we'll get to that. So log into the dashboard, come down to forms and click on forms. And what we're going to do is actually set up the date. When you go into forms, you then have the option to manage fields. You can do it by going into the client as well. Then you can do it from there. In one of the other videos, we will be breaking down how to clean this up and sort that out. But for now, what we want to do is just, we're going to add a group, and then we're going to call this marketing, because what we're going to do is actually put the date into that particular group. And by doing this is actually going to set up a whole new section in there, which we'll go through in more detail. And then what we want to do is add the field. So the field that we want to add is engagement date. So just type that. Obviously we're going to allocate it to the marketing group, and then it's going to be a date format. So you just have to click field type and select date. So obviously what we want it to be called, engagement date. The group we're going to put it in is the new one that we created, which was marketing, and the date field, the field type that we want is date. Now we've got that all done, we're just going to add that. You'll see that it's created the actual field that we want in the group that we're after. That's the first step we're going to do. From here, we're going to jump in and we're going to start to download and set up the engagement. Right, we've set up the dates. So the next thing that we want to do is actually set up the automations that we need. So again, starting from the home page, click into automations. And what we're going to do, when we get into that point, we're going to click up into the top right hand corner to create automation. Now we're going to use the recipes that are already in the system, just to make it easier, and we can take it from there. As you can see, it actually shows up here, engagement tagging, but what we'll do is just type in engagement in case you can't see it straight away, and it will bring it up. So we're actually going to add part 1 and part 2. That's part of this particular campaign. There are extra ones which we will be building out and showing you in other systems, but choose part 1, engagement tagging, and click continue. This will take us into the engagement, and we're going to actually follow the recipe setup process as part of Active Campaign. Now, the good thing you can see here is that it already adds the tag, and then it will add these following tags and remove the disengaged ones. It's going to wait 7 days, then remove the recent activity. It's then going to wait 28 days, and it's going to remove disengaged, sorry, it's going to add disengaged and remove the engaged. So what it's saying here, that is basically within the first 28 days we're classing people as engaged, and then after that they go into disengaged for another 30 days, and then they become inactive. Now you can change these as you want. Initially we can keep that. I do like to keep the recent activity for the 7 days that they've got there, but to me an engaged contact can be more than 3 months, and definitely a disengaged before they become inactive is more than 60 days. So you can set them up as it is. We'll leave them as they are for here. If you ever want to change them, you just click on it and then change the timings. We've got different best practices for what we reckon these are. But you've also got some information in the notes. You can click on here and it will tell you these bits and pieces. But we don't need to worry about those for now, because we're going to go in and show you how to set up the next step. So you can, again, we set up stage 1, or part 1 I should say. What we'll do is we'll click on automations again, and what we're going to do, create automation, and then we're going to choose part 2 this time. So again, type engage and select part 2. The part 2 is actually going to do most of the work to trigger part 1. But you need part 1 obviously there to do that beforehand. So now we've got that in here. As you can see here, there's some extra bits here, and then what we're going to do is actually use the setup wizard. So hopefully by now you've already connected your website to the tracking. If not, we do have another video on our website to do that. I'm going to choose the domain name for that, and that's just the Greenfish Marketing one, which is the main URL, and click next. The next thing it's going to send is end another automation. So we start with the ending one, and it says here as well, author notes, you should set the exit automation to part 1 engagement tagging. So we just want to select part 1 engagement tagging and click apply, and then click next. It will tell us here this should start engagement tagging 1 as it restarts the timer. So we're going to do that, and we're going to select 1, and we're going to just apply that as well. Now we're nearly done because we've got it connected. So anyone that go to the website, if they click on any email, and if they read any and they click on a link in any email, it's going to then exit them from that one, and then it's going to start them again. So it'll restart the automations. The only other final thing that we need to do just quickly before we turn them all live is go back into our part 1 engagement, and what we're going to do is we're going to put the engagement date in here as well, the field that we set up earlier. So add, tag, add, and when we remove this, we're just at the top of this, we're actually going to go in there and we're going to select contacts, update a contact, and then we just need to find the one that we needed, which was engagement date. It's alphabetical there, so you can change that, and we're just going to change that to the current time and click save. So what that will now do is anytime any of the actions that were in the other one trigger, it will update that date and it will start to add and remove the tags as requested in here. Every campaign should have this. Every active campaign account should have this. What you just need to do is switch these both on by just clicking active here, go back to the other automation in the main thing and just click active. As you can see, you can do it from here, make active, and these are now both ready to go.